My name is Rich Harover. I'm an emergency physician. I work up in Dayton, Ohio. I take care of all ages, little babies all the way up to little old ladies, all comers, anyone that would come to an emergency department for anything they considered an emergency. And I work 4 12-hour day shifts a week, and the days I'm not working, I'm here working out. There really wasn't much introduction to strength training in medical school. We're mostly focused on treating disease that already exists, a little bit of preventative care. But certainly the talks that we got regarding exercise, it was always just get some cardio, 3 times a week, an hour a day. Very, very little discussion of weightlifting at all. I can't tell how many times I would talk to physicians that would tell you probably shouldn't weightlift, it's bad for you. But never got anything other than anecdote. No one ever could actually point to any hard articles that would say, oh yeah, you shouldn't be squatting or deadlifting. So Ripeto's book was pretty fascinating, and frankly, the physiology, the biomechanics that he lays out, it was very compelling, very compelling. I'm definitely not an athlete, never have been. We just were trying to find a way to prevent all the infirmities of aging, and I knew weightlifting was going to be important. I just really couldn't find any place to go work out that wasn't full of gym bros dropping weights and screaming at the Y. And we tried going to the YMCA and a couple other places, but it just wasn't very successful for us. Tried to set up a home gym and started working that way. Made some progress with it, but wasn't getting any kind of coaching, wasn't sure about our forms. Finally just happened to find when they opened Starting Strength here in Cincinnati and signed up the next day. It's fascinating to me. I don't think I knew what to expect. I think I was thinking you'd come in here, you do your work set, the guy'd walk by, take a look at you here and there and give you a little update. Less back, more hips, whatever. But every single lift you do, there's a coach critiquing everything. And amazing to me in terms of how they don't try to dump everything on you at once. The squat you would think would be such a simple thing to do, yet when they are showing you all the different angles and mechanics that have to be done to do it properly, it's fascinating. I think it was a whole year before the coaches finally stopped saying, change this, change this, change this, before I finally started getting up. That's good. So there's a lot to it, a lot more than I would have thought, and certainly more than I ever would have been able to figure out on my own at home. So my body weight's up about 20 to 25 pounds. I went from the 170s up into the 190s. My lifts, it's been awesome. My overhead press, I've gained almost 100 pounds. I'm up to 158. On my overhead press, my squats have come up 200 pounds. I've got a PR of 355. My deadlifts have gone up 200 plus pounds. I'm up to a 375, 380 deadlift. It's amazing to come into this gym and see 97-year-old people lifting weights, moving really well. Certainly increasing your muscle mass. I got more muscle mass to burn more of that sugar. I'm going to reduce my risk of diabetes. I'm going to reduce my risk of heart disease. I'm probably raising my testosterone level by doing this, which has got some benefits there as well. I don't see any downsides to it. It makes me sad. I see so many folks that come in that I look at them, and Jonathan Sullivan, he said once, he's like, I look at these patients and I just think, if I could just get them under the bar, I could change their life. And I feel exactly the same way. I see it all the time. Debilitated people in the emergency department who have trouble moving, who have trouble doing just normal daily activities. And I look at them, I'm like, man, if you could just make just this change alone would dramatically change your life. And I mention it to them all the time. I tell them my story, and sometimes, I don't know, you might have some success, maybe you plant a little seed. I think the other thing I didn't expect coming here was that the social aspect of it is so awesome. There's just so many really cool, like-minded people that come here and train with you. You get to know everybody by name, you get to know their stories, you get to know their backgrounds, you get to share in their successes. It's so cool that you get cheered on when you're doing a lift, but you're also cheering on your colleagues when they're in here doing it. We got young people, old people, middle-aged people, and it's fantastic. It's the highlight of our week is coming down here and getting to visit with our friends now. It's interesting, if you miss a session, you come back, everyone's like, hey, where were you? What's going on? Are you okay? Is everything going all right? So there's also that little bit of a push. It's like, if I'm waking up 6 in the morning and like, I'm tired, I don't really want to go today, but it's like, oh man, Adam's going to say, where were you and what's going on? So there's some accountability there and some expectation you're going to show up, which is, it's nice too. I think probably most folks, if they think about strength training, they're probably thinking of the YMCA, and they're thinking of that little corner off to the side where they got a few free weights, and you got the big gym bros in there who are and screaming and dropping and making the big loud noises over there, and you're thinking, man, I could never go work out with those guys, and that just doesn't seem like the culture I'm interested in. wow, you come here and you're just going to get a completely different experience, just completely different experience. So you're going to be welcomed, it's warm, you're going to make friends, and you're going to get strong as hell.